Most traders think it's their strategy holding them back, but the truth is it's their subconscious mind that's keeping their accounts under $10,000, no matter how good of a trader you are. There's a hidden psychological trap hardwired in your subconscious mind that's keeping you trading smaller accounts. And until you break free from that, you'll never scale your accounts. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening in your mind and how you can fix it. And this is a real problem. When I was working as a performance coach at the world's biggest prop firm, I saw a trader blow 50 accounts back to back. He wasn't my client, but if he was, this is exactly what I would teach him. Now, I want you to comment below your biggest trading psychology issue right now. I want to offer you some guidance. Okay, now to explain why your trading accounts will always be stuck below 10,000 and you'll never be able to trade six figures or multi six figures or even seven figures, I want to use an analogy that I think everybody would understand. Now, when you're dating and you're going in the dating market looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a potential wife or husband, there's a particular dynamic that goes on in social psychology that's really important to understand. I think everybody intuitively understands it. Let's imagine you're in the dating market and you're down here and you have a look and you find an individual that you find incredibly attractive and you're head over heels for this individual. And now you become a little desperate and you really want to date that person. What you're communicating in that moment is that this person is more valuable than you are and they have something that you can't provide for yourself. And what you do consciously or unconsciously, but you can communicate it to them, what you're doing is you're putting them up on a pedestal and you're minimizing yourself. That becomes the dynamic. It becomes self-minimization, other exaggeration. And what you do is you communicate desperation, and what you also communicate to them is that they can do better. Because now through your desperation, through your actions, maybe you text them too quickly, maybe you're incredibly desperate to catch up with them right away. What you're communicating to them is that they're incredibly valuable, and as a result, you relative to them, you're lower than them in their mind. So they automatically think they can do better. So I think everybody understands this desperate, needy mentality of needing someone communicates that they're more valuable than you. And the dynamic becomes them up on a pedestal, you in the pit. And in their mind, they now know their worth and they feel like they can do better. So although this is not a dating channel by any means, one thing that will kill your dating life is this desperation. Because when you're desperate for them, you're also communicating to them that they're much more valuable than you are. And everybody in the dating market wants a match. You want someone that you feel like is on your level. And we literally use language like this person is out of my league in dating. So I want you to remember this analogy because guess what? It's the exact same with money. It's the exact same with funding. And it's this subconscious idea that is keeping your trading accounts below 10,000. So now whenever you go for funding, what's happening in your mind is you've got funding way up on a pedestal. You're in love with the idea of what you think funding can provide for you. And you've exaggerated it. You've exaggerated the benefits without seeing the drawbacks. And you've put it way up on a pedestal, which means you've minimized yourself in turn to the funding. And what you're literally communicating to the funding and you're communicating to yourself is that I need this thing. I'm desperate for this thing. And in communicating that to yourself, you're also communicating to yourself that you're not on that level. You're not valuable enough. So whenever we put the funding or anything up on a pedestal and we're only aware of the benefits without the drawbacks and we're exaggerating what we think that funding can give to us and provide to our life, we're minimizing ourselves in our current state. And this is the exact mentality, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, that will keep your trading counts below 10,000. It will mean that every time you go for funding, you don't even on a deep level feel worthy of it. And if you do fluke passing a funded challenge, there's no way you're going to be able to sustain it. Because now you're highly infatuated with it and now you fear the loss of it. And all of a sudden there's more stress and there's more fear in your trading, which takes you away from your trading plan and you'll inevitably lose this funding. The only way to get funded and sustain funding is to, in your mind, feel like you're on the same level as that funding. And not to put the funding up on the pedestal, but to take it off the pedestal, to see it for what it is and feel like you deserve that. You're deserving of that. Just like in dating, the only way to sustain a relationship with someone, a true loving relationship, is to not have them up on a pedestal, not have them in a pit, but to see that individual for who they truly are. That individual has two sides to them, a happy side, a sad side, a positive side, a negative side, an upside, a downside, and love both sides of them so that you have a true match in that moment. And you don't feel above them or below them. You feel like they're a match. They're on the same level as you. That's the only way to sustain a true loving relationship or a friendship, a dynamic. And it's no different with your funding. You have to feel worthy of trading that funding. And you have to feel like you're resonant on that level of capital. Otherwise, there's going to be fear the fear of losing that, and the fear of taking losses on that level. And that fear will lead to FOMO, overtrading, all these psychological issues, which will ultimately lead you to taking trades not part of your plan and losing that funding. So the way to shift this dynamic and to break free from $10,000 trading accounts and to scale up is to do a very simple exercise. You have to take the funding off the pedestal by starting to be aware of all the drawbacks of the funding. Making an extensive list of the drawbacks of the funding. You're already aware of the benefits, you're already aware of what you think it's going to bring you in your life, but do you see the drawbacks of that as well? The added stress, the added complexities of taking trades on multiple accounts, the complacency that potentially comes with taking on funding and now feeling like you've made it. You need to start to make yourself aware of these drawbacks of trading the funded accounts, otherwise you're not going to feel worthy of trading them. And then when you can find enough drawbacks so that the funding is balanced in your mind, you see the benefits of trading the funding, yeah, it's a great way to leverage, but you're also seeing the drawbacks in equal degree, and you can see sometimes the unsustainability of prop firms and the unreliability of prop firms. The future of prop firms aren't guaranteed. Payouts aren't necessarily guaranteed with some prop firms. We've seen some issues with prop firms in the past and with trading additional funding and taking on capital. So if you're aware of these drawbacks, you now have a balanced perspective over the funding and the money, and you feel automatically more worthy of trading it, more resonant with that amount of funding. And then if you can go in there and find the benefits of yourself and where you're at trading, and you can see all the work you've put in to develop your craft, develop your trading plan, your trading processes, and you can start to lift yourself out the pit and take the funding off the pedestal so you don't see it with these rose-colored glasses, but you see it for what it truly is. You level yourself with that funding. That's a state that you can sustain, and that's a state where you'll feel resonant of trading that amount of capital, and you'll actually be able to trade that amount of capital. So I encourage every single trader to do that exercise. Find the drawbacks of the amount of funding they want to be trading, find the drawbacks of prop firms and trading additional capital, and then go in there and plan contingencies for each of those drawbacks so you're prepared if those drawbacks come. And then go in there and find the benefits of yourself as a trader, see the amount of work you've put in, see the processes and the trading plan you've developed. So you can see yourself for a balanced perspective, you can see the funding for a balanced perspective. That's a sustainable way to break free from $10,000 in capital and trade 100, 200,000, $500,000, $1 million and beyond. That's the way I teach my traders, and that's the way I've seen traders successfully go from smaller accounts to larger accounts and sustain their success. Now, if you're finding this useful so far, make sure you like it. It tells YouTube this is valuable content, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with my future trading psychology videos. So the only way you're gonna be able to break free from $10,000 trading accounts and scale beyond 100,000 is to have and develop this carefree, nonchalant, abundant, process-based mindset. And you can't have this type of mentality if you've got the funding way up on a pedestal. Just like you can't sustain a relationship with someone you're head over heels for, because you're going to sacrifice your life for them. You're going to have so much fear dating and being in a relationship with them out of the fear of losing them. And you can't have this carefree, nonchalant, abundant mindset in that dynamic. Just like you can't have this mentality if you've got funding way up on a pedestal, you're highly infatuated with it, because now there's going to be an enormous amount of fear introduced to your trading. The only way to embody this mindset is to take it off the pedestal by finding the drawbacks to the funding and to the funded accounts, and to lift yourself up and to mature as a trader and see that you do have worth as a trader because you put an enormous amount of time, energy, and effort into mastering your craft. So if you found this useful, you're going to absolutely love the free Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset 2.0 course. It's an absolute game changer in terms of what I teach you on trading psychology. But I appreciate you watching to the end. Before you click away, check out the video that's just been recommended to you by YouTube. That's going to be the next component in helping you with your trading psychology.